Hi, I'm Mel.
And I'm Janelle.
And this is the Murder Mamas.
The Murder Mamas.
Welcome.
Welcome.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good.
Are we just going to jump into it?
I think we're going to.
All right.
All right. Tonight we're talking about Rodney Alcala.
Okay.
He was born August 23rd, 1943 in San Antonio, Texas to parents Raul and Ana Maria Gutierrez. Excuse me. Yes, I did. In 1951, the family moved to Mexico, where his father would abandon his family just 3 years later.
Why would you move your whole family?
I know.
Just to leave them?
I don't know. That's...
Okay.
Yeah. When Alcala was around 11 years old, his family moved back to Los Angeles. In 1961, at the age of 17, Alcala joined the United States Army and served as a clerk. In 1964, after what was described as a nervous breakdown during which he went AWOL and hitchhiked from Fort Bragg to his mother's house, he was diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder by a military psychiatrist and discharged on medical grounds. After leaving the Army, Alcala graduated from the UCLA School of Fine Arts.
Oh.
Yeah. Alcala's first known crime was on September 25th, 1968, when an eyewitness in Los Angeles called police after watching him lure an 8-year-old girl into his apartment. When the police arrived, the girl was found alive, having been raped and beaten with a steel bar, but Alcala had already fled. To evade arrest, Alcala left the state and enrolled in the NYU Film School using the name John Berger.
Quite a change in the name there.
Yes.
That was a lot.
That was a lot, right? Gosh. Over the next several years, Alcala continued to get arrested for a number of crimes, including assault on a young girl and drug possession. He later admitted to knocking a 15-year-old girl unconscious and raping her while posing as a professional photographer. In 1971, he obtained a counseling job at a New Hampshire art camp for the children using a slightly different alias, John Berger. So he's going around just using different, and not very creative.
I'm just imagining him, spelling John without the H.
Yeah.
To change his alias. Slowly changing one letter.
One letter at a time.
Gotcha. They'll never guess this. They'll never catch me without the H.
Nope. Yep. All right, the murders.
Oh, the fun part.
Here we go. The first is 23-year-old flight attendant Cornelia Michelle Crilly. At some point in June of 1971, Alcala encountered Cornelia. She was found strangled and assaulted in her Manhattan apartment with bite marks on her breasts.
Ugh.
For over 30 years, law enforcement did not know who killed her until a fingerprint matched to Rodney Alcala. Then the detective acquired a dental impression, which also contained DNA. When both samples came back, they knew Rodney Alcala had killed Cornelia Crilly. Now, this didn't happen right away. This was years and years and years later.
3 decades.
Yeah. So, I'm just telling you that they did connect it eventually.
You're just giving me the heads up.
Just giving you the heads up.
Just letting me know.
Yeah.
That it wasn't fully botched police work.
And it wasn't solved in 1971.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. The second was 23-year-old Harris Ellen Hoover. Her calendar had an appointment with John Berger on July 15th, 1977.
Did you say heiress?
Heiress.
Like
She was an heiress, yes, to something.
Okay.
An alias that we know was used by Rodney Alcala. Ellen disappeared after that day. Law enforcement found no trace of Berger or Ellen. 11 months after Ellen disappeared, her skeletal remains were discovered spread throughout the bush of the Rockefeller estate in New York.
What the hell?
Yeah.
That's super ballsy.
It is super ballsy. I think she was related to the Rockefeller somehow. I watched a YouTube video and I forgot to write it down. but yeah, she was an heiress to something.
Wow.
Big. Yeah.
That's that just amazes me. It's super ballsy for
super
your second
murder.
Mm-hmm. Known murder.
No,
I just assume that every serial killer we talk about,
As
the first one that they talk about is really like their 15th one.
yes. And this one, they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures of people that he has photographed. And they think that a lot of these people, because they're missing, are probably dead, are probably some of his victims. Not just, but they don't know because they don't know
Who the people
are.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so hard.
It is hard.
It's also crazy to think about how many people go missing.
There's a lot of people
that go missing. Like all the time.
Yeah.
What happens to them?
I don't know. It's weird.
I was watching something about like in national parks.
Yeah.
I think it was around like Gabby Petito.
Uh-huh.
And like a ton of people go missing in national parks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
And they're just so big. Like, I don't know. Like think of like Zion. Like,
yeah. It's huge.
It's enormous.
That's why I stay home.
That's why I don't go. No, we love national parks. Yeah, but like, it's just crazy. Like,
it's crazy.
So many people go missing like all the time. All the time. Mm-hmm. There was like during the Gabby Petito, didn't they find like 4 bodies?
Yeah.
While looking for her?
Yeah. It's not funny, but yeah.
It's not funny. I think one guy was from Houston.
Really?
Yeah, he was like a dad from Houston. He went there and like, I think he committed suicide. No. Don't quote me on it though.
Yeah.
But like, so many people just go missing.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway.
As I derail your entire thing to talk about how many missing persons cases there are.
Her death remained a mystery for over 30 years. When NYPD matched Alcala's DNA to Curley's case, they also got a match to Ellen's case. The Hoover family knew who was responsible for killing Ellen. Again, later.
Okay, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing because it's like, once we had DNA, we were able to solve murders. Which is like, yay. Breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news.
Like...
Yes.
Once we had the tools to effectively solve murders, we solved murders.
We solved murders, yeah. At least they took the DNA.
They took it and they tested it. That's very
they kept
true.
It. Yeah. In 1978, Alcala worked briefly at the Los Angeles Times as a typesetter. Los
Angeles.
Oh, yes.
As a typesetter.
That's fine. And was interviewed by members of the Hillside Strangler Task Force as part of their investigation of known sex offenders. Although Alcala was ruled out as the Hillside Strangler, he was arrested and served a brief sentence for a marijuana possession. He gets arrested a lot, but he gets let out off a lot as well. Like, he'll get arrested and serve months in jail and then just get out.
Because he's getting arrested mostly for, like, small charges.
Like
marijuana and things like that.
Yeah. But it's in and out, in and out, in and out. So, during this period, Alcala convinced hundreds of young men and women that he was a professional fashion photographer and photographed them for his portfolio. Quote, portfolio. A Times co-worker later recalled that Alcala shared his photos with workmates. Quote, I thought it was weird, but I was young. I didn't know anything, she said. When I asked why he took the photos, he said their moms asked him to. I remember the girls were naked, unquote. He said he was a professional, so in my mind I was being a model for him, said a woman who allowed Alcala to photograph her in 1979. The portfolio also included a, quote, spread after spread of naked teenage boys, she said. Most of the photos are sexually explicit and most of the subjects remain unidentified. Police fear that some of the subjects may be additional cold case victims. In 1979, according to later trial testimony, Alcala knocked unconscious and raped 15-year-old Monique Hoyt while she was posing for photographs.
I hate that so much because there's like such that power dynamic, right? Where he's like saying or like using this fake clout to like get these vulnerable people to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like I've seen like 7 SVU episodes with this exact plot point.
For sure.
But like, it's just like so blatantly taking advantage of people.
It really is.
It's like,
or like even like,
Harvey Weinstein and
oh yeah,
like having that position of power.
the power. It's a power trip. And, yeah,
it's awful.
It is awful.
Because these people are, like, desperate, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're desperate. I don't know every single one of them, obviously. But, like, they want to be famous. They want to be a model. Yeah. They want to be an actress. They want to be X, Y, and Z. And it's just, like, so predatory.
It is. In 1978, Alcala was a contestant on the popular game show The Dating Game. Host Jim Lang introduced him as a, quote, successful photographer who got his start when his father found him in the darkroom at the age of 13 with fully developed film. Between takes, you might find him skydiving or motorcycling, unquote.
So much easier to lie about yourself before the internet.
Right?
When things became Googleable.
Can't Google it, yeah. A fellow Bachelor contestant later described Alcala as a very strange guy with bizarre opinions. Alcala ended up winning the competition and a date with the episode's Bachelorette, Cheryl Bradshaw, but she refused to go out with him because she found him, quote, creepy.
I bet he had serial killer eyes.
I bet he did too, and that saved her life.
For sure.
For not going, yeah.
But imagine, like, the news story if it was, like...
yeah.
This dating game contestant, like, gets murdered.
Yeah, that show would be over. Criminal profiler Pat Brown noted that Alcala killed at least 3 women after his dating game appearance, speculated that his rejection might have been an exaggerating factor. One wonders what that did in his mind, Brown said. That is something he would not take too well. Serial killers don't understand the rejection. They think that something is wrong with that girl. She played me. She played hard to get. She probably saved her own life. So.
Oh, so like her rejecting him just made him like spiral.
Yeah. And want to go out and kill more.
At least she saved herself.
At least she saved herself. Well, can't blame her. Jill Barcombe was a woman from Oneida, New York, who was killed in Southern California at age 18 in 1977 by Alcala. Barcombe had been in Southern California for about 3 weeks when her body was found on a dirt path near Mulholland Drive in Los Angeles. Barcombe was found in a knee-to-chest position and naked from the waist down. There were signs of sexual assault and she had been strangled with a pair of blue slacks and beaten. She also had 3 bite marks on her right breast, according to the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office.
Living in LA in the 70s would have been mad, man. There's like so many different serial killers there.
So many. Learning about
this
all
guy. There's the Hillside Stranglers. There's
Son of Sam.
Night Stalker. Whose name I cannot remember right now. But like so many.
Richard Martinez.
Ramirez.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
a lot.
So many in that time frame.
Yeah. There was a lot. Georgia Wixt was a registered nurse who was killed at age 27 by Alcala. Wixt's bruised and battered body was found on the floor of her Malibu studio apartment near her brass bed on December 16, 1977. She was naked and had been sexually assaulted before she was tortured, bludgeoned, and strangled. A hammer was found next to her body. Can I just say a brass bed, though? I used to have a brass bed.
Really?
Did you? No, you're younger than I am. In the 80s, it was all about the brass.
What is brass?
It's like a gold color. But you don't know what brass is? Oh my God. Am I totally dating myself?
I don't think I know what brass is.
Oh my gosh. Never mind.
Wait, I think I might have had a day bed that was like had gold little like balls on
that's brass
on the post. I guess
I think that's the brass.
Is that brass?
Yeah.
But like it was all made out of brass.
Like the whole bed.
Okay, there's some cute ones that are modern.
I'm sure.
I was like Googling.
Another murder that took place in 1977 was that of Pamela Jean Lamson. Pamela had gone missing after traveling to Fisherman's Wharf where she had arranged to meet a photographer. Her body was found near a hiking trail in Marin County, naked and battered.
Like this. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Total brass.
I absolutely know what that is.
Okay.
I had a daybed.
Yeah.
That was brass.
Yeah.
I just was a toddler.
Yeah.
And didn't know what brass was. I just thought it was gold. So.
Oh. Yep. All right. Christine Ruth Thornton disappeared in 1977 in Wyoming. Her body wasn't found until 1982, and her remains were unidentified until DNA testing was done with samples of her relatives. An autopsy showed she had been around 6 months pregnant when she was killed. Alcala later claimed he did photograph her, but he did not murder her.
He did
Photograph her.
Sure. I don't believe you.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. Don't believe that.
I have reason to believe you're lying.
You're lying, sir. Charlotte Lamb was a legal secretary from Santa Monica who was killed at age 32 by Alcala. Lamb's naked body was found on June 24th, 1978 in the laundry room of a large apartment complex in El Segundo. She had been sexually assaulted and had been strangled with a shoelace. The apartment manager found her body lying face up with her hands behind her back, but residents said that they had never seen her there before. That doesn't mean that she wasn't a resident, but...
When I managed apartments, that was like my biggest fear.
Really?
Finding a dead body.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It never happened.
Well, that's good.
7 years.
Cleaning hotel rooms, too?
Oh my God.
I can't imagine.
Well, I never cleaned hotels.
No.
But
I mean, like, that's another one. That,
doing inspections and knocking on the door, like, especially with, like, an elderly resident, and they don't answer.
Yeah.
It was always like...
Hold your breath.
Is this going to be the time?
Yeah.
But it never happened to me.
Oh.
Luckily.
Yeah, that's good.
For me.
For you.
And for the people.
And for the people.
We're not dying.
Jill Perenetu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
It's probably Parento. Because the E-A-U is an O sound, like Bo.
Yeah.
I only know that because my son's name is Bo.
You're probably right. I'll call her Jill. Was a computer program key punch operator who was killed at age 21 by Alcala. I'm sorry.
I'll call her Jill.
Oh, her name is Jill.
What if she pronounced it Gil? And you're still doing it wrong?
Well, then I'm fucked. Jill was killed on June 14th, 1979 by an intruder who broke into her Burbank apartment by opening the window. She was 21. Her nude body was found on the bedroom floor propped up by pillows.
Did he have like a certain MO? I don't know if we've touched on that because I'm listening to all of them, but I'm not really
I haven't heard
like...
I didn't hear or read of any like...
He's doing like X, Y, and Z process.
Right. It's just random.
Just like whatever he can do.
Yeah.
And it's all sexually motivated or like...
I don't think it's all sexually motivated. Well, yeah, I guess
most of them are nude.
They're nude, yeah. I guess they would be all sexually motivated.
Is it all women? Or does he have any
He
males?
has pictures of males.
But no
male...
known.
Yeah, known. But lots and lots and lots of pictures of males. So there could be. 12-year-old Robin Samso disappeared on June 20th, 1979, somewhere between her ballet class and a visit to the beach. Her body was discovered several days later, dumped in the Los Angeles foothills. Samso's friends told police that a stranger had approached them on the beach asking to take their pictures. Detectives circulated a sketch of the photographer, and Alcala's parole officer recognized him. During a search of Alcala's mother's house in Monterey Park, police found a rental receipt for a storage locker in Seattle. In the locker, they found Samson's earrings.
What? Wait.
What?
So he had a storage locker in Seattle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been all around. He's been in Seattle.
That just like
New York,
spreads
California,
so
Wyoming.
many more areas.
Yeah.
To like search.
So there's got to be just a ton of people out there killed by him.
Jesus.
Yeah. Alcala was
sad. Oh, it's so sad for all those people who don't know. You know, who never get that closure.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Alcala was arrested in July 1979 and held without bail. In 1980, he was tried, convicted, and sentenced to death for Samso's murder, but the verdict was overturned by the California Supreme Court because jurors had been improperly informed of his prior sex crimes. In 1986, after a second trial virtually identical to the first, except for omission of the prior criminal record testimony, he was again convicted and sentenced to death.
Why could they not talk about his previous...
I don't know, because it wasn't related to the actual thing that he was arrested for.
But, like, I don't know. Isn't that, like, some necessary background information?
You would think so.
Well, yeah. I guess you want them to be, impartial and just focus on this one case at hand.
But, I mean, knowing the history of the person is pretty substantial too.
What if they had like read it? Well, I guess that's why they do jury selection.
Yeah.
You know, if they had like read it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to be on a jury?
No.
Never?
Nope. I mean, I've been called.
Yeah,
but I was never
Every
picked.
time I go to jury duty. That's rude.
They race up and down the street.
Right. That's nice of them. Yeah. Every time I get called for jury duty, I always get called back into the courtroom.
Yeah.
But I've never been selected.
No, I've never been
for a jury. I just have to sit there all day.
I don't know. I can't decide if I want to be on a jury or not. Like, I know it'd be kind of cool, but I'm not. Everybody thinks in the crime world that's like the best thing ever, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to sit there do that whole thing. I guess it depends on the case.
I truly don't know if I could ever be, like, impartial.
Right.
I don't know.
It would be hard.
I don't know. That's really awful to say, and I'm sure I could try, but...
Yeah.
Like, the last time I was at jury duty, it was when I was working as an apartment manager.
Yeah.
And the case was, like, someone fighting with their HOA.
No.
And the attorney asked me, like, could you put your profession aside and, like... And I literally was like, no. And they were like, dismissed. Yeah. Immediate dismissal.
Well, my dad was a cop, so that usually gets me off.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't want to be him. Because I'm partial to policemen, so.
Oh. I also think, I don't know if you ever watched the show 30 Rock, but, like, Tina Fey's character, she would go to jury duty dressed like a crazy person. like in a full Princess Leia costume and stuff, just to seem like she was crazy. Yeah. So they would let her go. And then she tries to do that in New York, and they, like, put her onto a jury because they just don't care.
They don't give a shit.
It's pretty funny.
That is funny. Okay.
Sorry, so I've derailed this one a few times.
That's fine. In 2001, a Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals panel nullified the second conviction, in part because a witness was not allowed to support Alcala's contention that the park ranger who found Samso's body had been hypnotized by police investigators. Unquote.
It's always like these little
something
minute things that just
is ridiculous.
Get people...
Which I feel like if I did something like this, I'd be sent to jail for life without the possibility of parole and never get out.
Seriously. It's like these little tiny, like...
Yeah. I don't know.
You gotta make sure you have a good lawyer.
Yeah. For the third trial, Alcala elected to act as his own attorney.
Oh, bad news.
Yeah.
You're done. This is the one that sticks, right?
Yeah. He took the stand in his own defense and for 5 hours played roles of both interrogator and witness, asking himself questions, addressing himself as, quote, Mr. Alcala in a deeper than normal voice.
Oh my God.
And then answering them. During this self-questioning and answering session, he told jurors, often in a rambling monotone voice, that he was at Knott's Berry Farm applying for a job as a photographer at the time Samso was kidnapped. He showed the jury a portion of his 1978 appearance on The Dating Game in an attempt to prove the earring found in the Seattle locker were his, not Samso's.
I am imagining sitting through 5 hours of just like this one-man show, kangaroo court.
No kidding.
Like,
it would be pretty funny.
Do they have to allow that?
Yeah, I think they do. Because he's acting as his own attorney. So
I'm also imagining him like sitting down or like standing up where the lawyers stand and asking the question in a deep voice and then like quickly shuffling to the witness stand and sitting down and then answering like him and just doing that back and forth for 5 hours. Like,
dumbass.
That's like, it's just insane. It's insane that can happen.
It is insane.
Also, imagine being a juror there. Like, please make it. Just the cringe factor. Like, oh my God.
Alcala made no significant attempt to dispute the 4 added charges other than to assert that he could not remember killing any of the women. As part of his closing argument, he played the Arlo Guthrie song, Alice's Restaurant, in which the protagonist tells the psychiatrist that he wants to, quote, kill. After less than 2 days of deliberation, the jury convicted him on all 5 counts of first-degree murder.
It took them 2 days?
Yeah. I know. But all 5 counts.
Maybe he's a better lawyer than we thought.
Yeah. Dumbass. Richard Rapper, a psychiatrist paid by Alcala and the only defense witness, testified that borderline personality disorder could explain Alcala's claims that he had no memory of committing the murders.
I don't think so.
The prosecutor argued that Alcala was a, quote, sexual predator who, quote, knew what he was doing was wrong and didn't care. In March 2010, Alcala was sentenced to death for the 3rd time. In March.
Because he's being tried over and over again for the same stuff. Is it because it's going through appeals? Or, like, isn't there, like, you can only get...
No, because the one...
Explain to me how double jeopardy works now.
Well...
No, I'm just kidding. Explain all of the laws of the entire United States and every state individually. Go.
Right. Don't know. Don't even know what the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is, so I can't say. But he was getting off on just little technicalities, so
he's not being acquitted, right? Because like once you get acquitted, you can't be tried again.
Yeah. No, he's not being acquitted. He's just getting retried because of a technicality that was.
And he's in prison this entire time, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So, like, shockingly, the murders stop?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't him. We're sure it's not you, sir, except for the time you're in prison. All of that behavior is done.
Yeah. In March 2010, the Huntington Beach, California, and the New York City Police Department released 120 of Alcala's photographs and sought the public's help in identifying them in hope of determining if any of the women and children he photographed were additional victims. Approximately 900 additional photos could not be made public, police said, because they were too sexually explicit. In the first few weeks, police reported that 21 women had come forward to identify themselves, and at least 6 families said they believed they recognized loved ones who disappeared years ago and were never found. After,
oh my God.
I know, right?
That's like so many pictures.
So many pictures, and so many pictures that can't be seen.
I know.
That's the sad part.
That's...
You just never know. Families just never know.
I wonder, like, that has to be someone's job, right? Like, at the police department, like, the cold cases or, like, missing persons, just, like...
but think about how many...
Cross-reference. I mean, we already talked about how many people go missing.
Current, and then if they have to add cold cases onto that, geez, I mean...
I wonder, like... Yeah, there has to be, like, a huge stack of paperwork somewhere.
I'm sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. After his 2010 conviction, New York authorities announced that they would no longer pursue Alcala because of his status as his status as a convict awaiting execution. Nevertheless, in January 2011, a Manhattan grand jury indicted him for the murders of Cornelia Crilly, the TWA flight attendant, and Ellen Hoover, the Ciros Harris, in 1971 and 1977, respectively. In June 2012, he was extradited to New York, where he initially entered not guilty pleas on both counts. In December 2012, he changed both pleas to guilty, citing a desire to return to California to pursue appeals of the death penalty conviction. On January 7, 2013, a Manhattan judge sentenced Alcala to an additional 25 years to life. The death penalty has not been an option in New York State since 2007. In 2010, Seattle police named Alcala as a person of interest in the unsolved murders of Antoinette Whitaker, 13, in July 1977, and Joyce Gaunt, 17, in February 1978. Alcala rented the Seattle area storage locker in which investigators later found jewelry belonging to 2 of his California victims in 1979. In March 2011, investigators in Marin County, California, north of San Francisco, announced that they were confident that Alcala was responsible for the 1977 murder of 19-year-old Pamela Jean Lapsam, who disappeared after making a trip to Fisherman's Wharf to meet a man who had offered to photograph her. In September 2016, Alcala was charged with the murder of 28-year-old Christine Ruth Thornton, who disappeared in 1977. In 2013, a relative recognized her as the subject of one of Alcala's photos made public by Huntington Beach PD and NYPD. Her body was found in Seawater County, Wyoming in 1982, but was not identified until 2015 when DNA supplied by Thornton's relatives matched tissue samples from her remains. Alcala died of unspecified natural causes in jail on July 24, 2021, at the age of 77.
Oh, like just last year?
Yeah.
Wow.
He did.
I mean, he lived too long.
Yeah, he did live too long.
So he was able to appeal the death penalty?
No, only in New York. He was sentenced to death in California.
But they didn't put him to death, right?
No, no, because he died.
Oh, how long do you sit on death row?
Years.
Why?
Decades. I don't know.
Why don't you have all these answers? Come on, Ma.
I know you sit on death row for years and years and years.
Is it because you're appealing it, or like...
Probably. And it just takes a long time. I don't know. Gotta make sure that the right person goes to jail if you're gonna put him to death.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You know.
You don't want to wrongfully...
No.
Send people to death.
No. That's a bad one. So my sources were Wikipedia, Murderpedia, The Big Book of Serial Killers by Jack Rosewood, and a blog post by Paul Holes.
And a YouTube video.
YouTube video that was just called his name. I don't know, Rodney Alcala. And so that's it. Shouldn't have done that right in front of the microphone.
So that's it. Paper shuffles.
Done.
Yeah. I feel like I need a breather.
Yeah, you need a breather after that one.
Not as bad as some of the other guys we talked about, but not great.
The
just
unknown,
the sheer amount and the unknown.
The unknown number, 900 pictures that they couldn't even put out.
Yeah,
is massive.
It's like is it like 900 individual people?
Yes. Or
just 900 photos?
No, I think it's 900 individual people.
Jesus.
Yes.
That's so many people.
It's a lot of people.
Wow.
It's scary to think that's, yeah. There's so many.
So many people.
So many people.
That's like, I don't trust anyone who's a photographer.
I actually had someone come up to me in the mall once.
I think you told me.
Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were like, no.
No thanks.
Yeah. That's just like so many people.
Yeah.
It's like mind-blowing to think about. I think about that with like Coral.
Yeah.
Like 100.
Mm-hmm.
That's so many people.
Yeah. Like they just murder. Yeah. Anyway.
I feel like I would get used to it.
You would think.
But no, I just don't.
I'm just kidding.
No, I just can't. Like, especially like these like mind-blowingly large amounts.
No, it's insane.
It's just like, I really think like logically, like when do you find the time?
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I have no idea.
When do you find the time?
These people don't work, obviously.
Or like BTK, who had an entire life and all this other stuff. Or like Israel Keys. And it's like, how do you have the time?
I don't know.
Are you not tired?
They make time, well. They like it.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
They prioritize the things they enjoy.
They do.
And that's the most awful thing I've ever said.
Yeah.
But I think Israel Keys used to, on purpose, he would do like murders and stuff right before he had to do something. Like, had to fly somewhere or go somewhere. So he like had that time crunch and also had that alibi.
Yeah. He was never in the same spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one we should do soon.
We'll do him soon.
I don't want to.
For sure.
I think a lot about, like, how he kept that girl in his shed for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think about that one a lot.
Yeah.
It grosses me out. And also the kill kits that he left all over.
Yeah, that's creepy.
And also the fact that he was, like, got arrested, like, near here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I was listening to a podcast about him, I was like, wait a second. Yeah. That's not how you pronounce the name of that city. Okay. It's Humble. No, not you, but when they did.
But it's a guy's last name.
I know.
Nice. I didn't know that. So I was going around. Then when I found out, I was like, okay.
I guess I'll be more
fine.
respectful.
I'll call it Humble.
So Blake's reading. He's like, why does this say humble again?
Of course.
Like, no, baby, the H is silent. He goes, oh, so it's humble? I was like, yes. I had the same reaction.
We all did.
But you're a true Texan now. You're a true Houstonian. Yes. It's humble, not humble.
Yep. That's true. All right.
Anyways.
You can find us on socials at Instagram.
At The Murder Mamas.
And Twitter.
At The Murder Mamas.
And Facebook.
At The M Mamas, because murder is against their guidelines.
Yep. And Gmail. The Murder Mamas.
The Murder Mamas at gmail.com. My brain stopped working there. It was Gmail is what now? What's a Gmail?
What? At gmail.com. So, thanks for listening.
Send us any sort of emails for case request and let us know.
Talk to us.
Yeah.
We like hearing from you. That didn't sound right.
We like hearing and listening to the things you have to say.
Yes. All right.
Bye.
Bye.